everyone, and welcome to the show. You know how sometimes you read a story and it just stays with you? Like it gets under your skin and makes you think about the world in a whole new way?
Right.
Well, that's what we're doing today, diving deep into a world where hope is this like fragile little flame constantly threatened by just the crushing weight of survival,
Hmm.
and where a child's future is kind of like balanced on the edge of a knife, or like how quick their fingers can be.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's intense. And we're talking about Victorian London through the lens of Allison Epstein's historical fiction novel, Fagin the Thief.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so if you're into stories that like peel back the layers of these iconic characters and, you find yourself rooting for the underdog even when they're, not exactly a saint,
Yeah.
then hit that like button and subscribe, because we're going to be unpacking a lot more stories like this.
Awesome.
And you can actually find a link to Fagin the Thief on Amazon in the description below.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so this isn't just a retelling, this isn't just Oliver Twist again. It's like a deep exploration of how like crazy circumstances can totally shape someone's character, and how, even in the darkest situations there can be these like sparks of, humanity.
Yeah. Interesting.
So let's jump into the world of Jacob the boy, who eventually becomes Fagin, starting with his, his early life and all the things that kind of shaped him.
Yeah, so, one of the things that really stands out in Epstein's book is how she goes way back to Jacob's childhood, like way before Oliver Twist even happens.
Okay,
You really get a sense of like what made him who he is.
right.
And it all starts with his mom, Leah.
Leah, yeah.
Their relationship is so interesting,
Yeah,
She's so protective of him, fiercely protective.
right.
And it makes sense when you think about it. She saw her husband, Jacob's father, hanged for theft.
Oh, wow.
That's got to leave a mark.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like a trauma that just hangs over them.
Totally.
Yeah, and even when Jacob's little, you can see these hints of who he'll become.
Oh, yeah, like what?
Well, there's this scene with Mrs. Singer, the rabbi's wife.
Okay.
Leah overhears her saying that Jacob might be simple.
Oh.
And she even brings up his father, being a criminal.
Uh-huh.
And Jacob pretends to faint.
Oh, wow.
Like a big dramatic
It's
faint.
dramatic, yeah.
What do you think? Was that just him being a kid, or was there something more to it?
Well, I think it shows how aware he is even at that age,
Mm.
Like he understands how to play the game to get what he wants.
Wow, that's pretty insightful for a kid.
Yeah. And yeah, it kind of makes you think about how those early experiences being judged, needing to defend himself,
Right.
that probably shaped him into the guarded person he becomes later on, creating his own little world.
Yeah, his own little bubble.
Exactly.
And then there's Spitalfields market. It's like this whole other world for Jacob compared to the Jewish markets he knows with Leah.
Right.
He sees it as rich and bloody and foreign.
Wow.
Like he's drawn to the danger, the excitement.
It's like a forbidden fruit, almost.
Totally. And it's where he meets Sam and his gang for the first time.
Okay.
Like he's taking these baby steps into the life his mom is so terrified of.
Yeah.
But it's not until he sees that pickpocket in Haymarket that things really change for him.
Right, the pickpocket.
Yeah, Epstein describes him moving with this like languid grace. Like it's an art form in the way he steals.
Wow.
It's not just about taking stuff, it's like a performance.
That's fascinating.
And Jacob's totally mesmerized.
yeah, he's hooked.
He wants to learn that skill,
Yeah, it's not just about survival anymore. It's about mastery.
Right, and that's where Leftwich comes in.
Leftwich. Okay.
Yeah, he's like Jacob's first teacher in the world of thievery.
Interesting.
And they're so different.
Yeah, like how?
Leftwich is the cynical old guy. He's seen it all. He's tired. But Jacob, he's eager. He's a quick learner.
And he wants to be the best.
Exactly. He wants to surpass Leftwich.
Wow.
And there's the scene at the costermonger's stall where Jacob picks a pocket right in front of Sam and his gang.
Oh, wow.
Like he's showing off his skills.
He's proving himself.
Exactly. He's making his own way.
Yeah.
But, Leah's voice is always in the back of his mind.
Little warnings.
Yeah. And then there's this scene at a public hanging.
Oh.
It's brutal. And Leah, she just loses it.
Yeah.
She connects it immediately to Jacob's father.
Oh, God.
She's terrified for him.
Understandably.
And then Jacob has this vision, this weird vision.
What does he see?
He sees the guy on the scaffold and he looks like Jacob.
Like a mirror image?
And then the guy winks.
Whoa. That's creepy.
Yeah, it's really unsettling. What do you think it means?
I don't know. It's like a premonition or something.
Right. Or maybe it's his guilt,
Yeah, the weight of his choices.
And then there's Leftwich with his cynicism,
Right. Always so negative.
Yeah, he keeps telling Jacob they'll both end up a pile of bones buried behind Newgate.
That's cheerful.
Yeah, it's pretty grim. How do you think that affected Jacob?
I think it just reinforces the idea that there's no escape, Like their fate is sealed.
Right, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy almost.
Yeah, and for Jacob, who's already struggling with right and wrong, it's like Leftwich is giving him permission to be bad.
To just give up.
Yeah.
And then Leah dies. It's
Yeah.
heartbreaking. And Jacob, he's so devastated.
Yeah, you can feel his grief.
But he tries so hard to care for her,
He does.
He even gets Dr. Long to help.
Really?
He wants her to get better.
It's like a part of him is still holding on to that hope.
Yeah, and then she's gone, and he's truly alone.
That's got to be a turning point for him.
It is, and then Leftwich comes back.
Leftwich again?
Yeah, but it's different this time.
How so?
Jacob's cold. He pushes Leftwich away.
He doesn't want anything to do with him.
He's shutting him out, like he's shutting out his past.
It's like he's cutting ties.
Exactly.
With everything he knew.
Yeah, and he leaves Stepney and ends up in Whitechapel.
Whitechapel, okay.
And he meets May Walpole and her little girl Margaret. And there's this spark,
A connection.
Yeah, he's kind to them. He's protective of Margaret.
It's like he's seeing a different path for himself.
A what if kind of thing.
Yeah, what if he had made different choices?
And then he finds Leah's letter.
The one hidden in the book.
Yeah, the monk.
Right.
And it changes everything.
What does it say?
It's her story,
Her story.
Yeah, she talks about running away from fires, hunger, knives, guns, smoke. It's like her life was chaos.
Yeah.
And she was involved with this dangerous man. It's like she's saying she understands why Jacob is doing what he's doing.
But she's still warning him?
She's begging him to change his ways.
It's her last chance.
To save him.
Yeah.
And then Jacob moves to Saffron Hill, this notorious place.
Saffron Hill, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's like the underbelly of London.
Right.
Epstein calls it an inverted Mayfair.
What does that even mean?
It means it's a place where everything is upside down. Danger is normal, wealth is suspicious.
Okay.
And Jacob, he thrives there.
He fits right in.
Yeah, it's like he's finally found his place.
But it's a dangerous place.
It is. And that's where he meets Bill Sikes.
Bill Sikes, oh boy.
Yeah, there's this scene with a puppy Bullseye.
Bill's dog.
Yeah, and you can just feel the tension between them.
Like a power struggle.
Yeah, and Bill's brutality, it's just beneath the surface.
Right there from the start.
And Jacob starts taking in these boys. Dodger Charlie.
The Artful Dodger.
Yeah, and he trains them to steal. And there are moments where you can see him hesitate.
Like he's not sure about it.
Yeah, like a part of him knows it's wrong.
But he does it anyway?
He does, and Bill's always there pushing him further.
Right.
There's this one scene where Bill just casually pulls out a pistol.
What?
Yeah, just to make a point.
That's terrifying.
It is. It's a reminder that violence is always right there.
Yeah, lurking in the shadows.
And for a while, Jacob lives with the Foresters in Whitechapel.
The Foresters, okay.
Yeah, and he just pushes their buttons,
He does it on purpose.
He does. It's like he wants them to dislike him.
Yeah. Why would he do that?
I think it's easier than letting them get close,
To build up those walls.
Yeah, and then he has these moments with May.
May again.
Yeah, they go out sometimes.
Like dates.
Kind of like they have this connection. There's this one night at a cookhouse, and it's almost romantic.
Almost.
And then Mr. Forrester shows up and ruins.
He interrupts them.
Yeah, it's like this reminder that their worlds can't collide.
That they can't be together.
And Jacob ends up leaving Maggie behind.
Poor Maggie.
It's another loss for him, another missed opportunity.
For a different life.
Yeah, and he ends up back in that basement room.
The one where he met Bill.
Yeah, and it's like their roles have reversed.
How so?
Now Jacob is the mentor, Bill is the student.
Interesting.
Jacob shows him how to steal. He uses this greatcoat with deep pockets.
Like a master class in thievery.
Yeah, he's showing Bill how it's done.
Establishing his dominance.
And they go out to Moorgate to try their luck.
Okay.
But it goes wrong. Jacob gets caught.
Huh?
He ends up in prison.
In a cell.
Yeah. And he's thinking about Leah, about his father.
It's all coming back to him.
And then Bill and Bet break him out.
What, they rescue him?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Bill must really need him.
I think so.
To go to that much trouble.
They hide out in St. Giles, and Jacob, he's injured.
He's hurt.
Yeah. And Bill, he actually takes care of him.
Bill takes care of him.
Yeah. It's weird, right?
It is kind of out of character.
But it shows how much Bill needs Jacob. And Jacob, he keeps having this dream about his father.
The one from before.
Yeah, it's like this constant reminder of where he came from.
And where he might end up.
And then there's Bill and his temper,
Always so volatile.
Yeah, there's this scene in a tavern with Bill's father.
Oh, boy.
And Bill just he attacks his own father.
That's intense.
It's terrifying. You can see how easily Bill resorts to violence.
Yeah, it's like a switch flips.
And then Bill gets involved with Oliver Twist.
The little boy.
Yeah. And Jacob, he has mixed feelings about it.
Like,
I think he knows it's wrong to use a child like that.
but he's also in too deep
Yeah, and he needs Bill.
to keep things running.
And Dodger, he's jealous.
Jealous of Oliver.
Yeah, he wants to be the one Bill takes under his wing.
Oh, wow.
It shows how competitive they are, you know, even those boys.
They're all fighting for survival.
And Jacob, he starts to worry when Bill and Oliver are gone for so long.
He's getting nervous.
Yeah, he knows Bill is reckless.
And Oliver's just a kid.
And then Nan shows up.
Man, she's back.
Yeah, and she's scared.
She knows something's wrong.
She says Bill is dangerous. And then Leftwich comes back into the picture.
Leftwich again.
Yeah, but he's a beggar now.
What?
He's lost everything.
That's like a warning.
And Jacob, he just turns his back on Leftwich.
She doesn't even want to look at him.
It's like he can't face what Leftwich represents, you know?
The consequences.
Yeah, and then Maggie shows up.
Little Maggie.
She needs help, and Jacob, he takes her in.
Even though he said he wanted to be alone?
He does. It's like he can't help himself.
Maybe he sees May in her.
Maybe.
Or maybe he just can't turn away a child in need.
Yeah, and he tries to teach her how to steal.
To follow in his footsteps?
But she's not good at it.
She doesn't have the knack.
And Jacob, he compares her to May.
May was so skilled.
It's clear he still admires May, you know.
Even after all this time.
And he starts to care for Maggie like a father.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, it's like a glimmer of something good in him.
A different side of it.
And then there's this conversation about the Jewish Disabilities Bill.
What's that?
It's this law that was being debated at the time.
Okay.
And Bill, he thinks it means Jews are powerful.
Oh, Bill.
But Jacob, he knows better, you know?
He understands the reality.
Yeah, he understands what prejudice really means.
It's a powerful moment.
And then there's Nan.
Man Reed?
Yeah, she's this amazing character, so strong, so vibrant.
I love her.
And she and Bill, they start seeing each other.
Oh.
And Jacob, he kind of encourages it.
Why do you think he did that?
I think he hoped Nan would be good for Bill.
To tame him a little.
Yeah, and Nan, she stands up for herself, you know?
She's not afraid of anyone.
There's this scene at the races where she confronts these guys who are harassing her.
Go, Nan.
She's amazing. But Jacob, he starts to notice things.
Like what?
Bruises on Nan.
Oh, no.
He knows Bill is hurting her.
That's awful.
And then Bill tries to pull Jacob into this robbery.
Another one.
Yeah, but it goes bad.
Bill's not so good at this.
And Bill, he comes begging to Jacob for help.
To save him.
But Jacob, he says no.
He's dumb.
He's had enough.
Wow.
He leaves his home. He knows things are going to change.
He's breaking free.
And then Bill gets arrested.
They finally caught him.
And Bullseye comes back to Jacob.
The dog.
Yeah, like he's looking for protection. And Ned, one of the boys, he leaves.
He's moving on.
It's like Jacob's world is falling apart.
And he's all alone.
He thinks about expanding his operation, you know, taking in more boys.
To keep the cycle going.
But he hesitates.
He's having second thoughts.
Yeah, and then another boy shows up at his doorstep.
Another lost soul.
It's like he's trapped, you know.
He's destined to repeat the same mistakes.
And Bill, he writes letters from prison.
What does he say?
He blames Jacob for everything.
Typical Bill.
He can't take responsibility for his own actions.
It's always someone else's fault.
And then there's Nan. She waits for Bill when he gets out of prison.
She still loves him.
She dreams of a new life with him.
Oh, no.
But Bill, he's still the same.
He hasn't changed.
And they fight. And Bill, he shoots Nan.
Oh, my God.
It's horrible.
It's so sad.
Charlie sees it all. He gets help.
They arrest Bill.
And Jacob, too.
What for?
He realizes he's responsible for Nan's death.
In a way, he is.
At his trial, he tells the truth.
He confesses.
And he has this vision of Nan and a magpie.
A magpie? What's that about?
It's like a symbol of death, you know? Like a bad omen.
Yeah.
And then Oliver comes to see Jacob in prison.
Oliver Twist.
Yeah, it's a brief visit, but it's meaningful.
They've both been through so much.
And in the end, Jacob prays.
He finds solace in his faith.
And he sees a young boy beside him.
Like a vision.
Maybe it's him, maybe it's someone else.
It's open to interpretation.
And Ned tells him about Bullseye.
What about him?
He's still loyal to Bill.
Even though Bill is gone.
It's a strange little bit of hope, you know?
A glimmer of loyalty.
It's in this dark world.
Yeah.
So Epstein, she talks about why she wrote this book, you know?
Mm.
She wanted to address the anti-Semitism in Dickens's Oliver Twist.
Right. Fagin was a caricature.
He was, and she wanted to give him a real story.
To make him human.
She changed things. You know, she reimagined Nancy's death.
Okay.
And she gave him the name Jacob.
Jacob?
Yeah, it has biblical connections.
Interesting.
And she added the Jewish Disabilities Act debate, even though it didn't happen then.
I noticed that.
She wanted to make a point about prejudice, you know.
Show how it's always been there.
And she talked about how transportation was more likely than execution for someone like Fagin.
Back then.
Yeah, she wanted to be historically accurate.
I appreciate that.
So Epstein, she really created something special with Fagin the Thief.
She did.
It makes you think about morality, about loyalty, about the choices we make.
It's a powerful story.
Jacob's journey is brutal, but it's also full of these moments of humanity.
Yeah, those little sparks of hope.
And it shows how even in the worst situations, people can still connect with each other.
In unexpected ways.
So what do you think? Is it possible to escape the past, you know?
That's a tough one.
Can we ever truly break free from where we came from? I don't know, but it's something to think about.
It is.
What about you? What was your biggest takeaway from Jacob's story?
That's a good question.
Yeah, let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives like this one.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone.